like it's raining, raining down, 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 down. Oh, I was stressing, no more question. I was lost, but now I'm found. So I ain't never met a love till I found my God. Lord, you love me, flaws and all. You heal my scars. You can't go wrong. I can hear the angel singing along. Yeah, clock around early, early, early. Welcome, 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 welcome to the kickoff. Keisha H, how you doing? I'm sweating. Just got finished coming in from outside, pulling some guava trees in the house. How you doing today? How's your week going? Starting off so far. Today we're gonna dive into to some preparing and some little tips that I use that I do every year. What I do every fall and this time of the year to get myself ready for next year. Little 5 little things. So I try to come up with 5 things. What 5 little things that I try to do? Yeah, and we also gonna talk about composting over the fall. Some of the do's and the don'ts. Well, some of my do's and don'ts. To each his own. It's just some of the things I do and some of the things I don't do. I know the first most important thing to what I usually do first is fall soil enrichment and treatment technique. I usually try to do is, like I always said, I have my own compost, homemade compost, if I have it. If I don't, store compost will do. Manure, if I can get me some chicken manure, warm down the road, then I'll add that too. My shredded leaves, that's a must for me. Just like the shredded leaves I added, ain't even been a month ago. No trace left. It's no shredded leaves left out there. That's how fast shredded leaves break down into soil. And another thing with that, the hungrier your soil is, the more it's gonna eat. And we're gonna also talk about why soil preparing in the fall is the best, because that's what nature does. If you notice, leaves fall in the leaves fall. It still signals winter. And what them leaves do is break down and it feeds your tree all through the winter and all through the spring. They don't need nothing else. Occasionally, something might come through and die and give it a little bit more nutrients. But fall, to me, is the perfect time to feed your garden, to feed your trees, all of your perennial herbs. It's the best time. When you worrying about stuff burning up in the heat of the summer, you ain't got to worry about if it's already been fed. Yeah, we're gonna also talk about some of the crops that I grow here in 7B in my fall. Things that I know that will survive through my winter, stuff like cabbage. But the thing about cabbage is you got to get them out, adding leaves to the bottom of all my containers. Yes, sir. I know I do that a lot. I add a bunch of shredded leaves to my container. It'll drip down, but man, them trees love it. Them trees love it. And it's also a good way to save on you some soil. It's just like my strawberry bed out there now. That's what I was doing. I cut down one of my bushes and all of that, and banana leaves, my comfrey that's left, all of that goes in that bed before I try to put any soil in there. Any soil. I'm trying to use as much organic matter as I can, because you don't All of this stuff we've been told for all these years, how yeah, some of this stuff does help your plants, but it also adds stuff like salt into your soil that in time builds up. The more you add it, the more it builds up. So it's kind of harmful. But if we do it the natural way, then we don't have to worry about all of it. Just like when I make my super juice, I use my banana leaves and comfort. And I don't have to worry about diluting it so much because it don't have that high nitrogen in it. It has more potassium and phosphorus than it does nitrogen. And plus, with the rainwater that gets added in, rainwater got trace. It's got nitrogen in it, and it's got traces of minerals in it. So that really, it don't burn your plants as much as it's synthetic, as much as is the weeds that you might have added, because weeds got a lot of nitrogen in it. And if you use weeds in your super juice or green manure, whatever you want to say, it's more likely to burn. It's more likely it's going to burn your plant because it's more nitrogen. It's stronger. Whereas the bananas and the comfrey, it's got more potassium and phosphorus in it. So less likely. Yeah, but I add a lot of shredded leaves to my container. I also believe in adding worms in my container. And when they in the house, if I bring them in the house, I don't really do it in the summer or the spring. Calm down, son. I don't really do it in the summer and the spring, but in the fall, I use a lot of my coffee grounds inside my containers. I don't take it too much out there in the spring, in the summer, but in the fall, when they're in the house close by, they get it, and they seem to benefit for it. Also, I take this time and I'll top my plants off, especially my citrus, because citrus fall time is when they start ripening a lot of their fruit. So I'll add them some compost on top. I usually add hollytone because I got a bunch of hollytone. Like I said a couple of videos ago, I bought like a 20 or 50-pound bag for a little bit of nothing at the end of fall season. And citrus, they about like your blueberries. I use it on them, and I use compost. Then I put wood chips back over top of it, and I add tool or insect netting around the soil. So in that way, if I bring them in the house, it's less likely to bring them fruit gnats in. If it's got fruit gnats inside that soil, that tool or insect net is too small for them to get out. So anyway, they're gonna die. So just a few things that I do. And for cold protection, I use road covers. I use some concrete blankets. I don't forget what the technical name are, but they made for like concrete, keep concrete warm. I use concrete like blanket. And if my figs, I bought burlap, but I still hadn't get to use it. Now I use wrap around my bananas, and then I'll insulate that with either straw or a bunch of leaves. Plastic, I don't really use because plastic tends to, in the daytime when it heats up, it tends to burn, do a lot of more burning, and it keeps stuff, moisture from getting in. So it pretty much suffocates your plants if you ain't got another way of watering. Yeah, but it's highly, if you got little seedlings when frost come, it's gonna pretty much kill them all. And if you got an established plant that's been growing for a while, that's why I start my collards and cabbage and turnip greens all the last week of September. Usually the last week or the week or 2 weeks before the end of September. Because that way they get a little bit more mature, a little bit more size on them, and then by the time the frost rolls in, they don't take that much damage. Like now, and I re-sowed some more turnip greens, and yet they still hadn't came up yet. They still hadn't came up yet. Because one, because lack of rain. They ain't getting much rain. And I also take this time to do, I wait till my trees go in. I do three prunings. Well, two prunings a year is what I usually do. In the summertime, I do a light summer pruning. That's just to control the size and anything that's growing inward that I don't want to get too thick before the end of the season. Because you know, fruit trees, they grow like crazy. They grow like crazy in spring. And if you wait till the end of the season to take a branch out that's growing inward, most likely, I mean, you just waiting and it's using all that energy to build that branch. And then you cutting it off at the end of the season. Whether if you were to cut it when it was small, the first of when it's spring, summer, all that energy that it would use to shoot out that branch will be used in producing more of the branches that you want and some of the fruit buds that you actually want. And then I do right after all the leaves are falling off of all my trees. Been cold for a few times. I do my pruning, then I do my spraying. And that's when that second pruning is when I'm looking for anything that's dead. I appreciate it. Anything that's dead, anything that's growing inward. And I try to control my height. I know some people don't, but I'm on a small lake. Most of my stuff is planted real close together. So you got to get good at pruning. When you're growing a lot of stuff in a tight space, you got to get good at pruning. As far as my compost pile, the last couple of years, I've been stepping up my compost game. I've been keeping normal terms on my compost. Make sure it's consistently moist, not soaking wet, because soaking wet will make it stink. And it's not I keep it turned at least 3 times a month. I'll turn it. That way it keeps it aerated, it keeps it from compacting, and it keeps it heated up. I try not to add weeds that have seeds on them, because if that compost don't get hot enough to kill them from seeds, and then once you spray that compost out, you just got weeds going everywhere that came from the compost pile. The educator natural, I appreciate you coming. Also, I do a balance, browns, greens. That's it. And your browns can be anywhere from paper towels, tissue paper, fall leaves, cardboard, shredded cardboard. I say anything you put in there, you want to try to keep it pretty small, because the smaller it is, the faster it's going to break down. Just like I said with shredded leaves. Shredded leaves will break down a lot faster than leaves that you leave whole. Now, if you just want to cover a whole area for that season, but this is a good way to start. If you just want to start fresh, like, look, I want to start my garden right here in this spot. Well, this time of year is your best time to start. Go ahead and get that area prepped. You ain't even got to till it. I don't believe in tilling, digging, and all that. I used to because everybody else used to do it. But now that don't work for me here. I got clay. Clay got a lot of nutrients in it, but it does compact and real heavy. So I'll take that area, I'll cover it. I'll cover with cardboard or landscape fiber, whichever. If I'm gonna bury on top, landscape fiber. But if I'm thinking about going deeper into the ground, I'll cover it with cardboard. Then I start layering my different layers on it. Banana leaves, comfrey, fall leaves, any small sticks, old soil. I'm just starting composting. So proud of my little Timu barrel bag. I ain't never seen them before. And then I keep that area wet. I keep it wet. Because what that cardboard is going to do, what a lot of people don't know, that cardboard brings in a lot of beneficial insects. Composters is what I call it. And it's going to start breaking that cardboard down. It's going to start eating up through them leaves. It's going to start eating that mulch. It's going to start eating that comfort. All that stuff you layer down, all that organic matter. And then when that spring comes, you just add you a couple inches, 2 or 3 inches of compost. Boom, you off to the races. Go ahead and put your plants in the ground. And I'll guarantee they're going to grow like no other. That little area that I put that I had the okra in this year. Seen the stalks on some of that okra. Biggest round is my arm. Biggest round is my arm. And the only thing I put there was shredded leaves. Shredded leaves. I piled a lot of shredded leaves there. They broke down just like that. And I did that beginning of spring. By the middle of spring, they was broken down, and I was planting okra and the melons in it. Leaf compost is amazing. It's so much stuff that we can do just without going to the stores and spending all this money on stuff. That's what I'm trying to get us out of. Kitchen scraps, like your vegetables, when you cut the tops off the tomato, that's compost. Either you can compost it in place or you can compost in your compost bin. Old lettuce that don't wilt it, that's compost. Only thing I don't put in my compost is any plants that I see that had a disease or meat. Now, I will put an animal carcass in there. But I'll dig a big hole in the bottom of my compost pile, and I'll bury everything on top of it if I got an animal to put in there. And plus, my compost is kind of wrapped, so can't too much get in there. But if you just throwing meat on top and mixing in top, it's gonna cause that smell, and it's gonna draw animals, and it's gonna stink. It's gonna stink like crazy. And no plastics, treated wood. All it's just gonna break down into your soil, and it's gonna get into your food. It's like we buy vegetables and stuff from the store, and they get sprayed with this chemical. This is chemical called Appeal. They say it's not harmful, but it keeps the vegetables looking fresh and keep them from rotting. So to me, and they think, most people think, if I just take this stuff home and wash it, it's gonna be okay. No, it's not. It's not. That stuff seeps into that vegetable, that fruit, whatever it is. And then when you eating it, it's seeping into you. It don't matter how much washing you do with baking soda or none of that. It's already soaked inside of that fruit or vegetable, whatever it is. It's already in there. There's no way getting that out. We are what we consume. And like I was saying about when I use to cover stuff with, bubble wrap, it's good to insulate the inside of like a greenhouse or something like that. But it traps in moisture. It doesn't allow airflow. So the plants is risk suffocating from it. And then if you use like wet cloth, if you use cloth or paper, it gets wet and it will freeze quick, and it's gonna freeze to your plant. So that's gonna cause another issue. Going with Hudson, what's going on, family? Chemical sprays around here is why I can't use leaves or anything for the ground here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't either. A lot of chemical sprays around there. Yeah, I wouldn't use them either. Mulching. Mulching is another thing we should get into the habit of doing around this year. Instead of waiting the first of spring, because I see a lot of people, that's when they have a sale on mulch. And another thing, when you buy mulch from a big box store, any place you buy mulch from, do not get the color mulch. I have a few times for around the front of the yard, the front flower bed. And I tell you, stuff didn't grow good there for 2 years. It didn't grow that good there for 2 years after we used that. Not until I started using regular mulch, it started growing a lot better. But then that dyed mulch, it will. And that dyed seeps into the ground too. Yeah, but as far as me, when I'm using to try to protect something, it's gonna be road covers. It's gonna be them concrete. I don't know what you call it, Casting 55, casing 55. Thanks for coming. I don't know what you call them. It's concrete. It's like woven, like it's black. I use a lot of them. Mulch, wood chips, straw, shredded leaves. All of that's is mulch, and that breaks down through the winter. Tamika Davis, how you doing today? Hope you're having a happy Monday. All that will break down in the winter, and it'll be available for your plants or trees to uptake in spring. So that's just another way of feeding your trees before laser man feeding too. Because if you got a lot of trees in your yard like I do, and there's no chemical sprays and nothing around, shred that stuff up. If you don't even want to shred it up, put it down whole. Especially if it's just gonna be of a tree. But you got a risk. If it's whole, it's gonna more likely to blow away. You shred them up, put them down, wet them in real good. That's gonna start breaking down. If you can get it, wood chips over top of it. That's another. That's just gonna keep more moisture in on it, dry like we have it now. It's so dry here. When Helen come through, about 2 days after, we got rain for like 3 or 4 days. And before then, it was like 2.5 months before we got rain. And we hadn't got rain since. And stuff is still dry around here. But I can go back out in my garden where I done put down so much wood chips and move that soil back, and it's still moist. And I hadn't watered. That's because all the wood chip, it keeps that moisture in. Sue Miller, how you doing today? Yeah, it's just some little things that I do over the fall to try to set myself up for a better spring, summer. I don't really do too much cover crops. Precious Pieces, how you doing today? Hope your week started off good. Unless you consider my collards and turnip greens. You know, I put out some red mustard, some Florida broadleaf, and I got them from CC. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna try them and see how them are. But other than that, and where the collards and stuff at, most of my garden is pretty much blank. But them pretty much the only things I grow in the fall is greens, brassicas. I got cauliflower out there. I got the mustards and Florida broadleaf, cabbage. That's it. Collard greens, turnips. That's it. You know, I was impressed with leaf mulch. It takes about 12, 18 months. I fill bags with leaves, and when open, there we go. When open, it was black soil. Yes, sir. Black soil, like black gold. And leaf mulch. Leaf mulch, I don't care what nobody say. Leaf mulch is some of the best mulch you can ever buy. It's better than any black cow. It's better than any of that stuff you buy from the store. It's better than chicken manure. It's better than horse manure. It's better than all that. And it don't burn your plants like that stuff do. It's better than rabbit manure. It's gonna give your plants a more balanced pH than pretty much anything. Miss JoJo, thank you for coming. Doing great. My neighbor threw out a rabbit hut. It'll be good for baby chickens next spring. Yes, sir. Ain't nobody out there, boy. Yes, sir. And we ready for them chickens, them baby chickens next year. And the times we living in and the price of everything these days, yeah, we got to start doing better about trying to. It seems like we just working to pay somebody else's bill. I still have tomatoes, squash, okra, and loofah. I cut my tomatoes. I pulled everything real early. Hold on, man. I ain't pinned that link. I'm sorry. I know I just Don't like to be the only one talking. I pulled everything early this year, a lot earlier than most years. And really, truly, I don't know why. Seems like to me, whenever the leaves start dropping, I start pulling stuff. But to me, that just a sign to symbolize that fall is about here. And we pretty much had a lot of tomatoes already. Okra, we had enough. Basil, way too much. Oregano, more than we can do with. Lemon balm the same way. I just cleaned up my apple area over yesterday. I cut back so much oregano and lemon balm. It's unreal. And I already that's the third time I did that this year. Third time that I've cut back that stuff like that. And we already out of containers to even store stuff in. Got turnips, collards, peas, lettuce growing too. I got some turnips, not as many as I want. So I try to fill up 2 whole rows, and it only come up in spots. And some of the spots where I didn't plant it came up. That's because of these dogs here. They run through everything. The bud file, thanks for coming. Yeah, but I pinned a link to the top of the chat. If anybody want to come up and talk about what they do in the fall to get ready for spring, it'd be awesome. The heat delayed my garden and successful plant. Okay. I should have did that with cucumbers, but I didn't. And I should have, because I didn't get as many pickles that I wanted. Yeah, the oregano grows like crazy. They're choking out your time. Some stuff you can get, and it's like my sage. My sage, every 2 years, I have to replant sage. My sage dies every 2 years. I don't know why, but it does. Seems like my time, it'll live for 5 years before it passes. Oregano, hey, ain't no stopping it. Ain't no stopping it. But I love oregano. Every time I go buy it, I gotta have some. I'm always coming there with green and all in my mouth because I'm always eating oregano when I'm outside. Oregano is just, I don't know, it's just something about it. It's amazing. To eat it fresh, it's just good. Chives. When you start chives and they growing in ground, chives, they clump up. They clump up. And once they spread, it's easy to just take and go straight down through that chive 3 or 4 times or whatever. Cut it up in humps. You got chives to spread out everywhere. Or just to get a friend. Same way what you can with your mints, your lemon balm, your oregano, all that stuff. I know most people say it's invasive. To me, it's not really invasive because I keep it cut back, and when I don't want somewhere, I just cut it down. Just plant your first chives this fall with your lettuce. Wife loves them. So blessed. How you doing this Monday? It's like we got a lot of chives and onion tops, whatever you want to call them, dehydrated. Backyard garden flow. How your Monday going so far? Yeah, that's usually the minutes in containers and then a few center blocks. Okay. Yeah, mint will. So I got chocolate mint, I got spearmint. That's it. Chocolate mint, spearmint. Yeah, I think I'm the only 2 mints I got. I did have one more. I don't know what happened to it. You're doing great. That's great. The money went good. Yeah, but yeah, the first thing I usually start off with in the fall is soil enrichment techniques like compost, any manures I might get. Chocolate mint taste smells like, oh, it tastes like chocolate. It's delicious. I'm doing great. I can't complain. Chocolate mint is good. You take some of that chocolate mint, you just drink either chocolate mint tea. I like mixing that chocolate mint with lemon balm. Lemon balm is one of my go-tos if I had a restless day or if I can't go to sleep. I'll try to steep some, or I usually just put some leaves off inside the top of my coffee maker, just like I do my coffee in the filter. Pour water in the back of it, just like I do my coffee, and let it steep down through it. And then I sweeten it with some honey. I put chocolate mint like that. I do spearmint mixed in with it. I even do lemon balm in with it. And I sweeten it with honey. It just said honey with them fresh mints. I'm telling you. Hey, whew, and it's warm too. Fire. And it relaxes you. It's good for anxiety. Lemon balm is good for anxiety. So it relaxes you and it'll knock you out. It'll relax your body so you can't go to sleep. Yeah, but I enriching my soil with what I told you, with some shredded leaves, manure, if I got it, and then compost. If I ain't got my own compost, I get a couple cheap bags of compost. Hardy Miles, how you doing today? You have a lemon balm plant I had for about 4 years. Mix mine with mint and green. Yeah, I like green tea too. I like mixing with green tea. I keep green tea. Green tea is delicious. Something else that makes a good tea in the beginning of spring, it just sets you off, is dandelion tea. I don't know if y'all drink it or not. Miss Shirley, OG Gardener, how you doing this Monday? You going to school today? You be careful. You have a good day. But dandelion tea, I turned my youngest daughter on to this a couple years ago. You know, I take the flower. I don't use the green part. I just use the yellow. And I do that the same way I told you I do with my mint in my coffee filter. Just put them off in there. And I steep the water in the back, just like I do my coffee. And when it comes out, I add some honey and a little bit of drop of lemon in it. Oh my God. I'm talking about delicious. And I like all my teas warm, unless it's iced tea. I like to drink all my tea warm, and it's delicious. Only moderation for you. I love it. I know some people eat the greens. I don't go that far. I ain't never tried the greens before. I know some people use the root. I have never tried it before either. Cassandra South Fulton Garden, how you doing this Monday? You know, I was just outside and just noticing some of the stuff that I seen on YouTube that actually really just already grows here wild. Like what is that stuff? Parsley. The stuff with the yellow flowers on it. What you call it? I can't think of the name of it. I can't think of the name of that to save my life. But it grows pretty tall, and it's got all these yellow flowers at the top. That grows wild over in my ditch, where I keep a lot of my cactuses there, my prickly pear cactuses. That's something else people don't. I had this one. I showed a picture of me harvesting my prickly pear cactus with the tunas off my prickly pear cactuses. Happy Mac, Laura's Garden. Thank y'all for coming. And I had this one person comment and said, "A bird dutied on them. That's how you got that fruit." Man, if a bird gonna sit down on them big old cactuses right there with thorns sticking out about that long, they got thorns on them that long. I ain't never seen a bird around it. I don't know where you got your information for. Goldenrod, that's what it is. Goldenrod. Yeah, it grows wild over here. It's like elderberries. I bought black lace elderberries about 4 years ago, maybe 5 now, and put it up there. And them things, they never go away. But just at my job, sit down, sit down. No, y'all not going out. Lay down. Just at my job alone, when I was out on the side walking, it is so much goldenrod. It is so much elderberry. Then I just started noticing when I'm driving, I see elderberry everywhere. People don't even know what this stuff is. Goldenrod. I see it all in people's yards. They don't even know what it is. Have not a clue. Have you tried lemongrass? It's good in tea and to cook with. I never tried a lemongrass because I heard it wouldn't survive here, and I'm pretty much just over putting stuff, having to babysit stuff. I mean, I got enough stuff I'm bringing in the house now because I still ain't got my greenhouse. Even with that greenhouse, I don't know if I would trust it this year with my Barbados cherry, my Moor's blood orange, my guava, since they flowering. I don't know if I would trust them out there in that greenhouse because we get cold here. I'm talking about sometimes we get what? A couple years ago, last year, I think we got down minus 20 some degrees. You know what I'm saying? When it jumps up to 40 something during the day, sometimes not even 40 something. You know, we still get cold, even though we don't went from 7A to 7B. Them temperatures don't know no difference. We still get cold here. Goldenrod is everywhere here. Yep. It's a great tasting, bright color and honey. Ooh. So y'all infuse it with honey. Yeah, Tennessee, that's Tennessee for you. I would love it if I can put all my citrus, all my guavas in the ground. That would be perfect. That would be perfect. You know, because they can grow to their full potential, or to what I allow them to get to. And I don't have to do as much watering. I don't have to do as much fertilizer. You know, we go out and get stuff because we want it. That's not made for our zone. So most time we got to babysit it for our whole life. I just bought some lemongrass. It's grown pretty good. Not sure how it's going to do with my North Carolina winter temperature, but it smells and tastes so good. Great with my ginger root and even with my ginger leaf. All right, I tried to grow ginger this year. Didn't get none to sprout. Turmeric come up amazing. Got so much turmeric now. I'm just drying it dehydrate. Well, I'm drying it now. Then I'm gonna cut it up and dehydrate it. And most of them making to powder. Yeah, like me, I love growing stuff. I mean, growing is just my passion. And it's just like who I seen Saturday, what Eco Neighbor was talking about. And it's absolutely true, man. It's absolutely true. Because I'm telling y'all, before I started gardening, before I was out there in that garden doing all this stuff in my garden, dude, I was a very, very, very negative person. You would not want to be around me. And sometimes I was very mean and bitter. G Mama Groves, Mr. Butler, how y'all doing tonight? Well, how y'all Monday starting so far? And but plants, just like Eco said, plants put out positive energy. Positive energy. It's no bad energy comes off of plants. Just all positive. And when you're around that all the time, though, it starts affecting you. You start feeling the change. I tried to real hard to get motivated to break ground for a new big bed, but you know how busy the fall is. Yeah, fall is one of the busiest times. Most people say it's summer and spring because you're planting. It's really not. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, the fall should be your most important time. I mean, your busier time because you're mending your bed, you covering your beds, you resheet mulching stuff, you adding compost and stuff, you applying wood chips, you're pruning, You're doing your spraying. Fall is a very busy time. Yeah, you just gotta make that time. Wellness with Frugal Mom. How you doing? I just bought the guava, but the fig did not make it. Oh man, no problem. Friend gave me another fig plant. Oh, that's what fig didn't make it. I got some more cutting. I have some cuttings here if you want to try some cuttings. Lemongrass is a perennial in our zone. Oh, is it? I didn't know that. I thought it wouldn't make it here. That's why I never even thought about trying it. Dark X. I didn't see you coming in. I appreciate it. Miss Kelsey, I didn't see you come in either. My bad. I'm up here running my mouth. Yeah, but if anybody got anything they want to add to the fall gardening, it's right there. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Oh, there you go. I appreciate it, bro. I'm not little. I can do it on StreamYard.
Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me, doing me. Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me, doing me. Say it again for the people in need. And for the people who ain't got nothing to eat. And for the people who ain't got nowhere to sleep. And for the workers like you and me. I guess showing this type of love is low. Want us to work until I cast the door closed. Why this world so full of hate and greed? Only got one question, please. Why money ain't free? Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody.
Sorry about that. It was stuck on loop. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a dark. It's so much work to be done outside right now. It's unreal. Yeah, we all got something going on. I already know. We all trying to set ourselves up for a better next year. Something go good. It's just like me. I just added on to my strawberry bed, and then it's about twice the size it was. I just took all the rest of my banana leaves, most of that comfrey, some shredded leaves that I had built up so far, piled it all up. I cut one of my bushes down, got some wood put off in there, and then I'm just gonna go back over top of that with none but topsoil. That's another thing. We spend so much money on buying garden soil, uh, garden soil, these expensive bags of garden soil, and we really don't have to. Topsoil is what you plant in. That's what farmers plant in. Topsoil. They add compost on top. Most things is added on top. Now, if you in a bed and your bed is covered so the bottom can't get them, then yeah, I don't think it's a problem adding your compost in with it. Because I do. If I just put a bed down and I got landscape fabric at the bottom so it can't get down to that other soil, then I'll mix my compost in with it. But if they can get down to the soil, just woods, cardboard's down there, then I'm putting it on top. So that way it just seeps down. But if it's just in the bed and it can't get down there, then I mix it in because all the nutrients gonna get is what you add into it. It can't get down to that ground soil. My strawberry tower is running over with strawberry plants. Finally, I'm getting enough growing there. Yeah, them strawberries, they'll take off. I get lemongrass from the Orient Play store and put it in soil and it roots. I never really, we don't have them. No, we don't really have them type of stores here. Cooking up something delicious over there. And yeah, and like I was saying, the fall crops that I grow is mainly just cabbage, collard greens. I got some cauliflower out this year for the first year. Well, I said cabbage, collard greens, turnip greens. Now I'm trying mustards for the first year. I haven't ate mustard greens since I was a kid. My grandma and them used to cook them all the time, but I haven't ate none since I was a kid. So try to get that back in my diet and see what that tastes like. And then the third thing I used to do is my pruning. When it's dropped all the leaves, it's been down cold for a couple weeks. That's when I start pruning. Like I said, I do two type of pruning. I do my summer pruning, so stuff that's growing inward or crossing, I go ahead and nip that off before it gets too thick in the fall. You know, fruit trees grow like crazy. You see a branch like this one day, about the size of my pinky. Next thing you know, it's double the size of my legs within a couple of weeks. Now, all that energy put towards growing that branch could have been used growing something else, or the branches you actually was going to keep, or pushing out some fruit buds. That's why I try to do my summer pruning. And also for height. If everything is already, you know, how you get them water suckers, they'll go straight up. Go straight up. I go ahead and prune them off. You don't want to do too hard of a pruning in the summertime when it's in the active growing season, but just a little pruning to control stuff like that. In the fall, after the leaves drop, about if it's been cold for a couple of weeks. And that's when I do my other fall pruning. It's going to be usually a heavy pruner because I'm trying to control my height. I'm trying to grow, cut anything that's dead, anything that's growing. If it's on the peach tree, I want to keep that center open. So I'm going to cut anything growing inward, anything that's crossing, branches that's touching each other. So that just opens up at one of them branches, and then disease can get in or insects can get inside that wound where it's rubbing. So that's the type of pruning I do. And then I try to protect what I want to protect throughout the winter, so I can try like bananas. I try to protect my bananas. But I'm gonna try to get a rack of bananas on them Carolina Kings, the whole before the next fall comes. That's what my goal is. So I try to protect my bananas. And my composting, I step up my game on my composting. I force myself to go out there a couple times to keep it turned, a couple times a month, 3 times a month. I want to check and make sure it's staying moist, not that soaking wet, but just stay moist enough, consistent. So it keep the heat up. It keeps stuff working. You too, Miss Miller. Have a good night. Yeah, shipping prices are crazy. You know, we all cook greens and stuff on Thanksgiving and Christmas. That green juice, the juice that you leave off your greens that's in that pot after you take them greens out of that pot. What's left? That juice, they can go back in your garden. I start wrapping up my plants I want to protect next month. Yeah. My figs, I try to wrap some of them. But you know what I found out? Over the last 6 or 7 years of me wrapping my figs, it never helped. It never helps. They still die back as far as they gonna die back. But I also noticed the longer it's been in the ground there, the faster it grows back, the thicker it grows back, and the more fruit that it produces. So me protecting them figs, that probably ain't gonna happen again. I thought about it. I even got burlap to wrap them, but I probably ain't gonna do it. Stop it. I probably ain't gonna do it. I put them figs inside that greenhouse last year, the year before one. I think it was the year before. They didn't get no frost on them, but they still died back. And I try not to use plastic up on as plastic is will burn your leaves, and then in the daytime when the temperature heats up, it's going to burn and probably it keeps water and moisture from getting in, so it's going to pretty much suffocate. Same as bubble wrap. I always put my lemons in the basement. Need to bring in my figs and banana plants. The meat wall too. Yeah, that meat wall kumquat. That's another thing I want to try to do too. I want to see if I can get my kumquats a couple more years. Let them get more, a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker. And I'm probably gonna try to put them in the ground somewhere. If I got because I've thought about just getting building a little area around them, keeping them so high, and then just cover them like in a cold frame, like what I thought about. But I'm trying to do away from keeping everything in pots that I gotta constantly worry about watering, fertilizing, because I fertilize and repot each one of my trees at least twice every growing season, sometimes 3 times. Depends on how good it's growing. And the price of them big containers and dragging them big containers everywhere, whew, it puts a toll on you. The big tan containers that I got my guavas in, I think they was like $30 a piece. That's, like 4 or 5 of them. Imagine how much that stuff adds up. And the ones that I really wanted was like 60 or 70 bucks a piece. It's just for a container. Something that's going to outgrow anyway. You don't have to constantly be pruning back those roots or constantly transplanting into a bigger and bigger container. But these stuff is trees. They ain't little small bushes. These things got massive root balls on them. That meat at Barbados cherry. In nature, that thing will grow to be 25 foot tall and 25 foot wide. Barbados cherry, they can grow up to be 18 to 20 foot. The same as with. I mean, these things is big trees. You know, they say they put them on these dwarf root stocks and stuff so they don't get so big. But man, I'm guarantee you can take something planted on a dwarf root stock, put it in the ground. That tree is still gonna grow as larger than what they said it's gonna grow. Yeah, the bigger the pot, the more they price. Yeah, price is outrageous for stuff now. There's some tree containers like 4.5 foot tall, about 4.5 foot tall. I don't know, probably. I don't know how wide they are because I ain't looked at the dimensions on them. But they some nice containers. They ain't heavy. They real lightweight. That's what I like about them upright containers instead of them big round ones. The upright ones is a lot more lightweight, easier to move around. But when you put them in them upright ones, that root ball grows straight down. When you get ready to pull that thing out that spring to repot it or prune the roots, you're gonna need some help. That thing is about as tall as you. Them root balls get long and massive. There won't be no soil left. It'd be nothing but root mass. You have soil mixed in with it, but it's mostly root mass. Them Barbados cherries cannot. They can't make it here. They more for like Florida type zone. I wish it could. That thing would go on the ground. I don't know, part of that thing 3 times since I had it in April. And every time I uppot it, I wait a couple months, pick it up, look at the bottom of the container, roots coming out the holes where the water's supposed to be coming. Water won't be leaking out that much because it's full of roots that's coming down trying to get in the ground. Same with them Mexican cream guava. Guavas is another fast growing tree, man. See how tall my guava trees are. They're about 7 foot tall, 7.5 foot tall. And each that pink guava, that white guava, 2 years ago, they died back because I had them in the greenhouse. They died back to maybe a foot tall at the most. So all that and the guavas they got on it, that's all for 2 years growth. That's all 2 years growth. And they was that tall when they died back. And I had them for like 2 years before then. Yeah, they 4 years old. Certain cherry varieties can take the cold, usually requires 2 different ones. Yeah, I got the Lampus cherry, the bean cherry, but I have 3 cherry bushes, and that's some Nat King cherries. My barber's cherries are flowering again. Yeah, mine too. Them things don't stop flowering. Ever since I got it, it's been flowering. When I first got it, it was in like a one gallon container. Not anymore. It was already up to a 10-gallon container. That's how my champagne ginger roots are. I see turmeric is like that too, man. Turmeric is just like bananas. It started puffing off, shooting up all type of different offshoots from everywhere, and they start spreading, getting massive and massive and massive. So once you dig that plant up, you got turmeric for years. For years. CC Texas Garden. Hope you are not to win Watermelon Award 2025 either. Yeah, I'm finna win that this year or next year. I'm gonna win that next year, CC. Just because you said I wouldn't. I'm gonna win. I had a few contenders of this year, and they were still growing. I just got tired of fooling with them, man. Them vines grow everywhere. Everywhere. I can't stand to be stepping on stuff. You want to be able to plant watermelons next year without the slugs getting to the seeds. Understand that. You know, when I used to use straw spice. No. When I used to use straw all the time in my strawberry beds, I constantly had slugs. It wasn't a berry I got without being slug damage on it. Straw don't work for me. I see a lot of people use straw. Straw, you know, it keeps it real, real moist under there. Real, real moist. And them slugs love it. It don't matter. I use bear traps. It didn't matter. I use copper. I use copper around the base of each one of the strawberry plants. That didn't work either. Not until I start redoing my bed every year with my pathway and around each plant, putting down. I always use pine bark shavings. Pine bark shavings. No, cedar. Yeah, cedar shaving. Cedar bark shaving. I use that. And ever since I've been using that, I don't see that much slug damage anymore. But I also, the beginning of the season, I take all them dead leaves and anything like that off. I take all of that off. My pathways, I do not put compost around each one of the plants. I compost down the pathway. Each row, I compost down that each row. Then I'll cover wood chips back around it. Then wood chips or cedar shaving around the pathways and around the plants. And that helps me a lot. J3, what's going on, bro? You really want some strawberry plants from next year? I got a lot of them, Educated Natural. I got a lot of them. You pay for some shipping, I'll send you some. Because I got more than what I can use. I peeled up. I still got probably about 70 that I pulled out of that one bed. And just pretty much just sitting in water right now. Mine are June bearing strawberries. That means you're going to get a lot of strawberries. And they say June. I don't know why they say June, because you start getting them way before June. You might get them up until the end of June or maybe the month after June. Deborah Garrett, how you doing today? Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of them. You adding more pine bark mulch now to get ready for winter. Yeah, best time to do it. Best time to do it. Yeah, but them are 5 things I usually do to try to set myself up for a better spring and summer. My soil enrichment, getting my staple crops, which is I call them staple crops, because these are crops I'm growing for me to eat during the winter time, which is my collard, ton of greens. This year I got some cauliflower and cabbage. And I got some mustards because of CC. When they come up. Kale, I haven't tried kale yet. Don't really know if I like it. I had mustards before, long time ago when I was a kid. We used to eat it all the time. Kohlrabi, that's a new one for me. I never heard of kohlrabi before I started watching YouTube. Never heard of kohlrabi. So that might be one I want to try. I usually have carrots going right now. So far, I ain't had no luck with my carrots. My carrots has not been showing up for me. And I do my pruning. My pruning is another thing I do. Got to get my pruning done. I got to control my height because I can't let stuff grow big like everybody else. Because all my stuff is compacted together. I don't have the space. You start your spring planting in December. Early bird eats first. Yeah, you can do that. You way down there in Texas. It gets hot down there, son. I can't be there. I like the heat and I like the summertime. I don't like that type of heat. That's too hot. Kohlrabi tastes good. I gotta try growing it. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. I never tried it, never ate it. I need to do all the chopped broccoli and more carrots. Broccoli, I don't eat broccoli, so we don't grow broccoli. Shawnee, what's going on, Shawnee? How you doing this Monday? And my compost. Now, I always try to keep up on my composting in the wintertime. I try to get out there to get a turn at least a couple times, maybe 3 times during the month. And try to make sure it stays moist. It's just like I've added so much leaves in my compost bin and all of the tomato plants that I chopped up, the turmeric, everything I took out of my annual garden. It's almost already broke down. Already. Gets cold too. What's your cold? Like 40 degrees? 40 is nothing. Gwen, thank you for coming. 40 degrees is nothing, CC. You can still walk outside in a t-shirt on in 40 degrees. Twice. I'm going to take that away from you. Stop that. We already been lower than what y'all lows get in y'all winters. Last week we had 2 nights in 20 degrees, 20 something degrees, like 28, 29. One night, we had one night 28, we had one night 27, we had one night 24. Then it was like 34. Last night it was 45, so I left all of my trees outside, no damage. Tonight is going to get down to like 33 degrees. Guavas here, I noticed anything lower than 42 degrees, they start taking damage. So I bring in my Barbados cherry. It was one night I left it out there. It was 6 degrees, I believe. And it started taking some damage. So I brought that in. I'm leaving no chances with them. The aloe, it's been outside through all of them cold nights, and it still has not took any damage yet. And it is small. I had one aloe for 2 years. Thing got so big, man. I mean, it was humongous. The biggest aloe, it looks like one of them guavas. That's what it looked like. It looked like one of them. That's how big it got. And then one night I left it out. It got real cold. It was like 20 something degrees. It killed it. Yeah, I got some garlic out planted. I planted garlic out already. Yeah, I forgot about the garlic. It's like my garlic that I got. I haven't bought garlic in about 4 or 5 years. It might have been longer than that. Because when I pull up all my garlic, I know most people they plant back they big ones. Most of the time I don't. I plant back my small ones. The small ones, the big ones we usually use. The small ones is what I usually break down into cloves and replant those. These 40-degree nights and mornings got my guava leaves looking crazy. Yeah, they will. The guava start taking damage in the 40s. I think like 45, 45, 46 degrees, they start taking damage. Ain't nothing coming in the house. I gotta bring my babies in. And even if I got my greenhouse put up, I don't think I still would leave my Barbados cherry, my blood orange. I don't even think I leave my guavas out there. Or that ice cream banana I got. I don't think I could. What's the best garlic here in Tennessee? Hard neck. I grow soft neck beginning of spring, and it was ready by the middle of summer. You have to buy more garlic, you overwater them. My garlic is coming up already. I'm glad because I forgot where I planted it. Yeah, it's gonna show itself. It's gonna show itself. I put some of mine's coming up already, some's not. If I put anything in the greenhouse, it'll be heat. Yep, yep. I was thinking about. I might try to get it up before the end of this. Before it gets too cold. Because I wanted to put them in there for a couple more years, just so them to get big and see how they do in there without heat. If they start taking damage, I have to put some heat off in there because I can't let my babies die. But I want to see how they do in there without heat. If they did good without heat, my plan was to just dig a hole and put them in the ground there. That's what my plan is. Where can I find it? Well, garlic, I'm telling you, when I first started growing garlic, I got it from the store. I got it from the store. You know, they say most store-bought garlic is not from here. Your ice cream bananas in the ground. Yeah, you can do that down there in Georgia. That's what my plan is too. This one I got is a little tissue culture. It was about like that. Now the thing is pretty big. But my whole plan is letting it get up big enough and letting the pup come out by spring, hoping I can get a pup by spring and put it in the ground. And then that way, if the pup dies, I still got the mother plant. That's my plan. Look, you got a 2-car garage. Yeah, my garage, well, it ain't a garage, it's an outbuilding. It's got, you know where the rafters come out the sides? It's got little cracks in them about like this. So wind gets all through them. And I tried to put mine out there one year and put plastic up. It didn't work. They all died back to the ground. That's the year I lost that my Calamondon, my Valencia orange, and that Persian lime. I lost all of them that year when I did that. And I keep from bringing them in the house. What's going on, bro? Driving but listening. I appreciate it. You started your garlic from a grocery store garlic. It wouldn't be stressed out looking for some. Yeah. If I can't come across it online, if it's too cheap, high, yeah, I'm gonna buy it from the store. Yeah, but that's just some of the things we can be doing. It's just like 511. I keep saying this, but if I can just take my 5-gallon bucket and go right down to the creek, because I got a lake about a half a mile down the road here. I go right down there with a 5-gallon bucket, scoop that up. I got 511. Buddha's doing better holding cold temperatures than the guava. Yeah, them guavas is very sensitive, but they're resilient. Even if they die back, they're gonna come back. The guavas is very resilient. Even if they die back, they're gonna come back. The calamanda was too. Most of the time, it died back a couple times. I had that calamanda for like 5 years before it finally kicked the bucket. Man, it was resilient. It died back a couple times and it came back, and it fruited the same year it come back. I got another soursop tree. That's one tree I'm gonna have to get, because the soursop is good for so much as far as health benefits. I think everybody should grow one of them, even if you got to bring it in the house, because it got so much health benefits to it. You overwatered your other one. That's another thing. I did that a lot too. Gave stuff root rot because I kept them too wet. I watered too much. I've killed my super dwarf Cavendish banana. It was a small thing. They didn't get no more than like 3 foot. Oh man, I killed them in the wintertime because I kept them too wet. I've killed citrus like that. You don't have to water as much. When you just first learning, first doing stuff, you experiment. And I was watering about every day, and it was too much for them. I was trying to think I'm doing something I'm supposed to do. Well, I got them in here. I'm babying them. I'm babying them like crazy. I'm watering like crazy. Nah, it was too much for them. Very tropical tree. The fruit's supposed to taste like caramel. Unfortunately, there's not too much information about it online. You learn about it as you go. That's what we all do. I mean, you can buy something, people can tell you how to grow it, but you just gotta learn as you go, man. You gotta learn how as you go. Yeah, growing indoors can be challenging. Trying to keep enough light. It's like misting when you got them indoors. You want to keep the humidity up on them. So I'll mist mine down about once a day with some water. A squirt bottle with water. I'll mist my trees down. It keeps that humidity up on them. It kind of help them a lot. Your soursop tree is 15-foot flowering now in Florida. It's like them sugar apples. I would love to have a sugar apple. But man, they they very cold sensitive too. And they get huge. It's like I can grow papayas here. But once winter comes, they go into the ground because I'm not bringing them in. Anything I can throw a seed out from and it's going to grow like that, I'm not bringing it in. My whole objective, if I do stuff like that, is try to cover that root base up and see if I can't get it to survive through the winter. If I can get it to survive through the winter, then a couple winters, it's probably going to adapt to my climate. That's my whole thinking anyway. That's my whole thinking in my brain. If I can get it established in the ground, in my zone, protected for a few years, then maybe I won't have to protect it no more. Maybe to know my whole thinking. Sugar apple, sapote. I've seen them before. Seen a lot of people I watch in Florida got them sapote trees and them sugar apples. Them sugar apples look delicious. I don't know about them jackfruit trees, no man. That big old thing, that look like something straight from Mars. Dwarf pawpaw, but I only have the common pawpaw here. It's like when I was growing up, when I was kids around here, was pawpaw trees all in the woods. I don't see no more no more. Wish you can grow coconuts. I think it's one coconut. Is it coconut I'm thinking about? Is it palm trees? It might be palm trees because I know they people up in Kentucky is growing palm trees. There's people up in Kentucky growing banana trees too. So sometimes they tell you stuff is not gonna make it in your zone. It might not fruit, but I've seen people up in Kentucky that had fruiting bananas. That was actually harvested. I guess it all depends on your your microclimate, where you got stuff placed. Was it getting this cold wind coming from the north or something? If you got something to shade it or something to block it, it don't get that full blunt, and you got something over top of the canopy so it's not getting that frost down from it, you might be able to do it. It might be from Mars. You got 4 jackfruits in your yard. I have 2 sugar apples in the ground. That's Florida living right there, boy. Florida living. I like to grow stuff like that in the ground, but me living in Tennessee, nah, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. Just in my blood, y'all. That's something. I was born here. I'm gonna die here. Sure live. Hear me in Tennessee. Let me rest in peace. Yeah, them jackfruit do, man. They look a dwarf coconut tree. I just been able to figure out how to pull it off yet. I have one dwarf coconut tree. I just been able to figure out how to pull it off yet. Haven't been able to figure out how to pull it off yet. I'm trying ginger this year. It takes 5 years. Just found out a lot of people here forest ginger and yellow root. Yeah, a lot of people forest yellow root and a ginseng. Yeah, ginseng. Yeah, I grew some ginseng. I got some ginseng seeds. I put them up by my back fence row. They never popped up. None of them ever came up. I was hoping because ginseng brings a high price, boy. It takes some years though. It takes some years for them to grow. Get you a nice root. I don't even know what jackfruit even tastes like. Jackfruit falls. I don't even know what jackfruit even tastes like. What it tastes like, J3? It looks crazy. I've seen a lot of stuff people eat. There's some melons I be seeing people growing. They spiny looking melons. I don't know if I can bring myself to eat nothing like that. Them spiny looking melons, that stuff look weird. 1 mango trees and a lot of them in the ground. I grew 1 mango from seed. I had store-bought jackfruit and didn't like it. Persimmon and an orient. That's what I'm looking for now. An orient pear. Every place I look has been sold out. It smells funky but tastes good. I don't know about that. I gotta smell my food before I eat it now. It don't smell good. I don't know about putting that in my mouth. It smells like you got a yeast infection or something. Yeah, too bad he can't sell it in. Yeah, you can't buy no. Well, you can't buy citrus from Florida. I don't know about anything else. Hold on 1 minute, y'all. Let me let these dogs out. Yeah, it might smell like a yeast infection. I don't know about all that. We need a Florida meet up. As long as it ain't hurricane season. Those spiky melons taste like cucumber. Yeah. That's why I seen some people say they taste like cucumbers. I don't. That stuff look weird. There's a lot of different fruit. It's like at what's that them elephant ear looking things that people be eating. They eat the tubers off of it. I don't forget what you call them things. Yeah, Edos. Edos, yeah. What them taste like? Is that more like a potato or sweet potato? That smell bad. No, sir. If it smell bad, you don't put it in your mouth. I don't know. That's something your daddy takes you right there. Yeah, that's something your daddy teach you right there. It smell bad. You don't put that in your mouth, son. That's why I get something Ajax won't take off. Looks like old nuts. Ugh. Still outside growing in a container. You know, everybody hear about them old sayings, boy. My mom used to tell me all the time when I was growing up. Well, you don't mess with nobody 10 or 12 years older than you. They gonna pee on you and give you worms. Like, what? Pee on me? Give me worms? That's crazy. But I believe this. You better get away from me. You ain't finna give me your worms. I don't want your worms. What kind of worms you got? It's crazy, boy. I know the younger generation, they don't know about, unless we say them to them, they don't know about these old sayings and stuff that our parents and stuff used to tell us. Yeah, I heard my mom told me about that by messing with old women. They pee on you, give you worm. It's like, man, they peeing on people out here. What the crap? No, sir. No, sir. I don't want your worms. But get away from me. Get away from me, Satan. No, sir. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't want your worms. No wonder I can't be a cougar. They think I got worms. I swear, you try to give people worms. Fisher J. Mia, thanks for coming. Yeah, but it's crazy. Yeah, that's that'll be something we can talk about. Don't get it off your chest. It's supposed to be like garden. Y'all behave. It's a worm, not worms. I don't know. Mom said worms. She didn't say just worm. She said worms. And how you gonna be a cougar anyway, CC? What you like 32? You called it a worm. I don't want it. My keyboard tripping. Oh, we the same rate? I'll be 49 next month, CC. Been around this world almost 50 years now. Almost 50. I started stuff. You know I could have. Almost 50 years I've been on this planet. But yeah, that's just some of the stuff I do for fall to get myself ready for spring. I'm a year older. So I appreciate y'all coming. I guess I'm gonna let y'all go. Get up off of here. Find me something to eat. But yeah, little 5 tips I use. The things I try to check off every fall to get myself ready for spring. All y'all babies. My soil prepping, my composting, trying to tend to my composting, doing all my sheet mulching, pruning, spraying. Yeah, that's what I do. Like I always say, if God be for you, who can be against you? If God be with you, whom shall you fear? If no one knows you, still his heart adores you. You are safe. You are loved. You are healed. Yes, sir, you are healed. Bro, when I eat, I appreciate it, bro. Let me hit you with my song one more time.
Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me, doing me. Why money ain't free? Why can't you just give it to me? I don't wanna work for nobody. I'd rather keep doing me, doing me. Say it again for the people in need, and for the people ain't got nothing to eat, and for the people ain't got nowhere to sleep, and for the workers like you and me. I guess showing this type of love is low. Want us to work until I cast the door closed. Why this world so full of hate and greed? Only got one question, please. Why money ain't free?
Hey, why can't you just give it to me? I appreciate y'all coming. Anybody might catch the replay. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Have a good week. See y'all Thursday.